Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
We bring you this special radio broadcast.
It's starting.
I'm sure a lot of people think this is just some radio shtick.
Let's talk to these people.
Let's talk about culture.
It's a primitive culture.
Let's talk about what's best in life.
What is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women.
Talk about crushing your enemies.
This time, it's for real.
Let's talk party politics. But don't expect the same old kind of talk radio show.
But a new wind was about to blow.
On this show, you get the high-flying conservative columnist from National Review Online, Jim Garrity, and the wit and wisdom and experience of broadcast veteran Mickey White. So let's get to it. This is the Jim and Mickey Show.
Welcome to the Jim and Mickey Show, brought to you by Gray Enterprises Holdings Incorporated. At Gray Enterprises, we know a lot of investors feel they're blindfolded and groping for answers. We understand you and your investments require a disciplined approach to reach the climactic returns you've been dreaming about. We believe in secure, strong ties with our clients. And we have what it takes to whip the competition. So don't get handcuffed to another firm that can't rise to the occasion. If you're afraid that you're going to end up in the red, let our firm hand guide you. I am Jim Garrity, joined by Mickey White, and welcome to episode 23 of the Jim and Mickey Show, our Valentine's Day prep edition. We will get to all of the lovey-dovey Valentine's Day stuff in a second. The segment discussing the infamous book and upcoming movie will come a little bit later in the program. A good reminder to stay tuned. But I feel like we really should get one big topic on our program over and done with, Mickey. Something happened on Sunday. There was some football game won by some team whose name I can't remember. And I was rather excited to say, look, finally, the 2014 NFL season is over. It was terrible and scandal-ridden, and things will be better. Mm-hmm. And then your friend Warren Sapp.
My friend, yes.
Ran into trouble.
My dear personal friend. Obviously joking there. Warren Sapp had a little problem over the weekend. And here's the thing. Here's the best part about the big game on Sunday, and all the media does to try to keep people from using the term Super Bowl, including spelling it incorrectly, amongst other things, is that this is supposed to be the best football game of the year. And for once, it actually wasn't bad. But nobody's talking about the game. As per usual, it has been overshadowed by discussion of dancing sharks. It has been, there's no booby talk per se, but a lot of dancing sharks and a lot of guilt, a lot of depression being discussed. And then you get into, what happened afterwards, which we're talking about with Warren Sapp, a little present to all of us out here in football land, a post-Super Bowl miracle, if you will, a present. Sapp was arrested this week and charged with assaulting one. Was he assaulting or was he soliciting? It's both.
I thought it was a entrepreneurship program for young women he was running. He was attempting to help her start her own business.
And immediately I felt the need to be like, okay, here's your disclaimer. Domestic violence isn't funny. Ha ha, got it. Down. This is not domestic violence. This is Warren Sapp, drunk after the Super Bowl. And get this. Getting into an argument with not one, but two hookers over the price of services at 7 a.m. Now, there are so many issues I have with this story. First of all, I thought that's why we had assistants when we get to that level of fame.
Yeah, there's that. To haggle.
Yeah, exactly. Are you down there working the street yourself?
I'll have my people talk to your people about the pricing for this.
Right? But again, it was kind of one of those days. And of course, since the NFL network has fired him immediately, as they've obviously had a rough year, as you were saying, kind of hoping for that fresh start, didn't exactly happen.
I was going to say, I suppose that the only thing we could say, the only thing he got was the worm, as the early bird who was awake at 7 a.m. looking to create business opportunities.
Some people suggested last night, as I relished this a great deal, over the last couple of days, a few people commented that, maybe he was trying to get a buy one, get one, a both go offer, because there were two. So I don't know.
I bet you after the Super Bowl, Everybody's leaving town. The expectation, you can find great deals at that.
Well,
hour.
and again, supply and demand at 7 a.m. Think about it.
There you go. Yeah, well, I'm sure. I don't know if the top tier supply is out at that hour.
You guys, I feel sorry for Roger Goodell. He's longing for the simpler days of Ray Rice.
Yeah, well,
And speaking of him, at NFL Commish, if you follow him on Twitter, want to send him any of your regards, feel free to mention my name. Speaking of him, that was part of the whole issue this year, right? Is the integrity of the NFL, holding it together. We've talked a great deal about Deflategate. That wasn't really an issue. That didn't really make any difference in the game. It came down to two teams that played well for the most part. But again, no one's really talking about the game. What we did find out, of course, is that Johnny Football went to rehab last Wednesday. Yeah. So good time to go to rehab is Super Bowl week, apparently. Because nobody knows.
I was about to say, Johnny Manziel going to be checking himself into a rehabilitation program this week. We don't know if it was for drugs. We don't know if it's for drink. It would be very understandable if he said he was driven to drink by all of the depressing Super Bowl commercials.
Oh my God,
between the dead kids and the abandoned fathers.
I want to know who
you said it was going to be pro-dad commercials. I did say that.
I did say that, and I took a lot of heat for that, by the way, because I got lots of, so much for those pro-dad things. He said, I'm like, look, that's what I was told. Clearly, my people were wrong.
Misdirection from Madison Avenue.
However, you will note I was correct about what I thought were going to be the more popular commercials. Those were already up on Facebook before our Facebook page, before the Super Bowl even ran. But this year, it turned into a situation where I felt like it could be really funny, perhaps, when because you're waiting for the Super Bowl commercials to start, let's face it. And then they weren't funny, Jim.
No, this was a humorless year.
Again, I feel like, I keep coming back to all of our Christmas stories, but my God, it's the year without Christmas. What happened?
Our friend Red Stees wrote an essay suggesting that we had depressing commercials for a depressing country, that it's a reflection, because there was this kind of progressive theme, lecturing the little boy for saying that, running like a girl or fighting like a girl, heavy-handed lecturing in a lot of these things. But I think what stands out is the new slogan for the insurance company, nationwide, 'cause your kid died.
There was a great meme too where the little kid says, "I would have called Marshawn Lynch off tackle up the middle, but I died."
He died, much like Pete Carroll's reputation that evening. The fact that anybody at Nationwide thought that was such a good idea.
Well, that's the thing is, having worked in that industry for years and been in those pitch meetings, I want to know how they sold this idea that, it'll be gripping. What'll make people really want to buy our insurance is making all the parents who have lost a child by some freak accident feel guilty, responsible, and make everyone else who hasn't lost a child feel worse because they didn't, and their kid could die.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, let's create awkward conversations for those of us watching the game with small children.
Well, we talked about Nipplegate last year. Nipplegate's nothing. Bring back the nipples. I'll take that over having to explain that fight like a girl crap that came on right after the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, better than a dead child is a really low bar to clear.
Okay, true. Better than a dead child commercial would be the always pads. Fight like a girl commercial that made my head explode. And everyone collectively in the room was like, oh, really?
Yeah,
and we were watching with men, women, lesbians. Everybody had the same response. No, nobody wants to see this. This is football time, not lecture time.
It was the only commercial produced by the investigative division of Rolling Stone. Designed to reinforce your message that men are terrible and
Women will know what I'm talking about here, but trust me, with the product they were advertising, you're not doing anything in it. Okay? You're not doing any of the things they said that you can do in it. So our female listeners will understand. But again, we had just sat through Katy Perry, which was the most estrogen-filled. And I like Katy Perry. However, I was very confused about that thing she came in on. I thought it was a lion at first. Okay. Well, first I thought it was a horse.
She's coming in like a lion.
Or coming in like the dark horse.
Okay, yeah.
That was my thought, and because I was outside looking in the window, and because it was so crowded. And so then it appeared to turn into a cat
Yes.
And then, of course, the dancing sharks came out, and then I came inside because then I had to know what was happening.
It was a lion, and Detroit fans know that's the only time a lion will ever appear in the Super Bowl. So.
Oh, very good.
But one of those sharks put a fin up Katy Perry's skirt from behind. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That's a popular meme today. That's a popular
there
meme.
is a fantastic tweet that's out there from someone who tweeted someone at the FCC asking about the behavior of the shark. And he said, while it was odd and slightly surprising, it was not illegal.
Yeah, anything that looks kind of like a, adult Pokemon type performance, they're not gonna.
It was really odd.
Yeah.
And then,
So-
of course, they brought in Missy Elliott. Everyone in our room, the girls of a certain age, they get up, they start dancing, and we sit down, we're like, damn, that's like 10 years old. Oh my God, we're so old. So again, depressed. And then immediately followed by Fight Like a Girl and...
Yeah, actually, I would observe, because I saw you on Twitter not being terribly happy about the halftime performance, and I would have said that compared to past, like the geriatric set they had in recent years, Paul McCartney, ladies and gentlemen,
Mick Jagger,
that this was
Dead Bones,
what you'd expect from Katy Perry, very theatrical,
yes,
lots to see,
I think that we may have gone a little too young in the demographic. Because we went from geriatric to what could be conceivably known as romper room or children's programming. Because the bouncing beach balls, and it's always back to balls here, but
there we go.
But the bouncing beach balls, come on.
Well, I was going to say, she did. When you were talking about what she wrote in on, Voltron was my first guess. By the way, so you saw all during the Super Bowl, I'm tweeting out my usual snarkiness. I see that creature come out, and I say, for Chima. And that is the one tweet I did all night long that had no retweets and no favorites, indicating that no one none of my Twitter followers have sons who are in the 4 to 7 range. This is a Lego series about animals that form tribes and fight. Think of it as Game of Thrones for the grade school set. And so they all are fighting animals. That's what it was.
I felt very well. That was interesting, and then originally I thought it was going to be like a Trojan horse. And the people were just going to magically come out of the Trojan horse.
Oh, there you go.
Sponsored by Trojan would have been more interesting. No. And then, of course, we had the Missy Elliott, and obviously then to Lenny Kravitz, too. And I'll take all the hate you want on this. The man who writes songs with 3 words and 3 chords, which was absolutely unnecessary and is always unnecessary as far as I am concerned. But let's face it, it's a great time for us to come together as a nation because everybody has something to say about it, clearly. And everyone has an opinion on it, much like what we're going to talk about in the next segment. We normally don't talk about medical things on here, but this isn't really a medical issue so much as something that people have to deal with every day, and certainly parents. So,
I was going to say, we are shifting from the depressing topics of Super Bowl commercials to topics that make everyone angry. We'll be right back after this.
Diet Coke, just wanna catch ya. It's electric when you hit my lips. Feels so good to hold you. It's the no calories that makes me feel like this. Just for the fun of it, just for the thrill of it, just for the love of it, just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
Hi, I'm Mickey White. I'm here with Jim Garrity, and welcome back to the Jim and Mickey Show. We are here about to discuss the things that make Jim angry this week, because that seemingly is a topic that is now, I should just go ahead and make a segment out of it. So, Jim, what's making you angry this week?
Yeah, welcome to Jim Screams at People. No, actually, I am not angry. I'm going to observe, Mickey, what are the things we have learned make people just draw the swords and hack at once best friends, once brothers will turn on each other? What topic is it?
It's not football?
Well, no, ketchup on hot dogs.
Okay.
Is the common one.
Yes.
Chicken wings, apparently, is the other topic.
You own that for saying what you said about chicken wings.
My vehement anti-chicken wing extremism. But no, so the topic of the week in the kind of political realm and news realm is the discussion about vaccinations and comments from New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and then Senator Rand Paul on this.
I don't understand why it has to be political.
I was going to say,
is that naive of me?
Well, here's what I've concluded, because it outside of the political realm, on whether it's a mommy blog or whether it's on Facebook, your social media, almost nothing sets off a furious argument like vaccination.
And why is that?
Okay, so here's